Hey everybody, it's Coach Rob. Welcome to another Coach's Log here at PosiTivePerformanceCoaching.com. I hope you've been enjoying all of the Coach's Logs, the quick tips, and the webinars. We are very close of getting our 50th person to subscribe. And once we have that 50th person, guess what? There's a brand new free webinar. It is been edited. It has, well, I should say it's been written and will be recorded very soon. So let's get going, and I'll get that out as fast as possible. But I need a total of 50 subscribers. At last count, we're at 31 when this video was recorded. Okay, enough of that. So today what I want to talk to you guys and gals about are some common mistakes that I see in training practices. And if you can get around this, you might be surprised to find how much better your training goes. This is across the board. This isn't something that's specific to one sport or another. These are just some common things that I see happen pretty frequently. So the first one being, quite honestly, is athletes not reading workout notes. So for instance, when I give out a workout, whether it's for a runner or a cyclist, or it is for weightlifting, strength conditioning, what have you, is that sometimes they'll gloss over, and especially with a bike or a run workout that has intervals, they'll just say, okay, well, Rob's got me covered. I'm going to just grab this interval file. I'm going to load it into Zwift. I'm going to load it into my watch or my bike computer, and I'm set. And quite often, yeah, you can get away with that. But I think it really benefits you, especially if it's a brand new workout, something that you've never done before, is read the notes. Not just the description of the workout, but the actual notes on the intervals. If there aren't notes on the intervals and you're not sure about what's going on, well, my suggestion to you is to get a hold of the author, or if I'm your coach, you get in touch with me, and we'll definitely get that sorted, because going in blind on a workout like that could really set you back. You know, there's frustrations involved. You may never want to see that workout again, or you might be upset that you didn't understand and things didn't go as you had hoped. So that's maybe a day missed. Next thing that I see quite often is timing, and that is meaning is your own personal time management. Making sure that you found time during the day to get that workout in, and that you weren't squeezed and you weren't rushed and you weren't put in a position where you can only do part of your workout. I see that happen more often than not, especially in professionals, career professionals. And I'm talking usually about people with higher degrees, that sort of thing. It's rather interesting to me that the people that I work with that are not in academic positions or in highly certified positions or licensed positions, they do a really good job with time management. But you would think that the professionals out there in the world would know how to do that, but they don't seem to be able to quite often. So remember, start looking at the time of day where it makes the most sense for you to get that workout in, put it in your calendar, and lock it out. That means that you need to have time in advance and post-workout to ensure that you can get back to your day-to-day life or your professional life without it impacting it. The other thing too that I see quite often is a disregard for nutrition when it comes to training. And yes, there are certain types of training and times of the year where it makes sense to train maybe fasted or just on plain water alone, and you can get by with that. But quite often I'll run into a group ride or a group run, and there are people who've shown up and they'll tell you straight up, I didn't have time to eat. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a struggle then, knowing what we're going to have to do today. So do yourself a huge favor. Look at your training plan day by day, a week in advance, if at all humanly possible, and look at that and go, okay, that's going to require this type of fueling and hydration based on temperature and based on the protocol of what you're going to do that day, so that you have it ready for yourself maybe a day in advance. Sometimes I know that's hard to do, but the other thing too that I talk about quite often is convenience and comfort. Make everything convenient. Make your life easier. If you need to be able to get to your supplements faster, find a place in the pantry where all that stuff is, that you can get to it in a quick single grab, that you're not having to shuffle things, dig through a refrigerator, or whatever it is, so that you can get to your things quickly. You'd be surprised how much smoother your training will go. The other thing too that I think that I see pretty frequently is folks not keeping up with their equipment. I often ask my athletes, and much to their surprise, how are things going with your bike? When's the last time you replaced your running shoes? Everything's still smelling nice and clean in your kit or your running gear. And they're often surprised by that. And it's because I know what frustrates me. And if it's going to frustrate me, it's going to frustrate another athlete. Let's give you an idea here. When was the last time that you changed out or charged the batteries in any of your sensors, whether that's a foot pod, a heart rate strap, a power meter, speed and cadence sensor, your computer, your GPS watch? You could be mid-run, mid-ride, mid-lift, and next thing you know, you look down and it's like, oh, I've only got 1% battery left, and bink, it's out. And you don't feel like you accomplished anything because you didn't get to record it and upload it to your favorite app like Training Peaks or Strava or Trainer Road, whatever it might be. Those things are frustrating. Make sure that you take care of that. The other thing too is that it does not come up as much in a coaching practice, I think, as it does in a self-coaching practice, and that's understanding your limits. Just because you see the latest, greatest research on training practices and protocols, and they make very large, claims that this will improve power by 4.5% in 4 weeks. Well, that's impressive. That sounds really amazing. But is that study really aimed at you? You take a look at the study and you find out that it says for well-trained athletes. Aha, there's a big gotcha there. What does it mean to be well-trained? How did they define it versus your own training and your own current state of physical ability? In this particular case, the program or the practice that I was looking at, this new protocol, said that it had been aimed at elite athletes and well-trained athletes. They defined elite athletes as carrying a VO2 max of somewhere between 70 and 72. That is strong. And then on their well-trained, they were looking at athletes around 60 on their VO2 score. That's also incredibly strong for a well-trained athlete. Most masters athletes and recreational athletes, especially those that are very much accustomed to riding or running frequently, can expect to see somewhere in the neighborhood of mid-high 40s all the way up to the mid and high 50s. So when you take a look at that, do you have the necessary cardiac output, if you like, to be able to handle that workout? No, you don't, based on those numbers. So don't set yourself up for defeat. Be smart. Look at what you're doing. Understand what you're trying to accomplish. And remember, performance-oriented goals before outcome-based oriented goals. Because performance can be measured, can be tracked, and can be dealt with. Outcomes have far too many variables for you to be able to focus on very, very, very early in your training practice. Okay, everybody, have a great rest of the training week, and we will talk again very soon.